an angle. What an atrocious angle. You can never tell. Well, I can't tell what the angle is when I start. As always, can you hear me? I can see it. You can. I'm getting more confident with that. There's stuff down there. Just so sad. Sadness. Just all of the things. It is what it is. How are you? As always, this is Impromptu. I know I said I was going to start announcing these things, and then I just did not. I like how, because of how dark it is over there, it's like it's shrouded in darkness. How has everybody's Tuesday been? I thought it would be nice to chit chat and all of that good stuff and hang out. I have giant tea. So, and Alvin is here. Alvin is also here. See? He wants to say hello. He wants to come up and say things. I thought it would just be, as I said again, I'm already repeating myself, just catch up, see how everything's been doing. It's Tuesdays, so that's like DC's new comic book day. I haven't read like anything. I have been checking out some other things, but not that. Hey, Alvin. Want to say hi? Alvin. I do have some comics over here to show you, some interesting tales from my travels out and about in the world. I did read the Red Hood webtoon because of course I did. I'm going to do a video on it in due course. I'm waiting for some sponsorship approval before I go forward with another video. So I've got some time. What am I doing? How's the symbiote doing? Good. Knock wood. So far, pregnancy is going pretty well. It's week 14, so I'm starting to feel a lot better than I was before. Hi, which is nice. There you go. He's so distracting. He's so distracting all the time. But I love having him up here. So I have had something in the back of my videos for a while. It is this nice Minions compendium, and I thought I would share a look of it for you guys. Titan Comics did send it to me, not Spawn, but they were like, you can do what you want with it. And so I gave it to my daughter, who is allowing me to borrow it because she very much enjoyed them. They're hardbound, which I really like, especially for kids. And they're super cute. They're mostly visual. There's not too many words. But if you like Minions, they are really funny. They're full of that Minions humor, and they're very, very cute. There were a couple of jokes in here where I laughed out loud. I did. There's one in a later issue where they go to a casino and they're trying to get the jackpot, which is all bananas, and they get it, and they're so angry that it's coins and not bananas. And I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. I thought it was super cute. They're just sweet, and they're like the right speed for if you like your kid is just starting to read, I feel like, anyway, or if you just enjoy visual storytelling. Don't knock it off, Alvin. Why are you like this? My goodness. Ray Farr, thank you very much. Hi, Sasha. How do you prefer to collect comics? I always try to get trades, but I've been buying some omnibuses lately, and man, these are pricey. Yes, they are. I have an omnibus tale. I have an omnibus tale. I'll keep flipping through this as I tell it. So there is an out-of-print compendium, which is not quite an omnibus, even though it is essentially the same thing, but there's a difference. It's like not hardbound and stuff. There was a Witchblade one that was released in 2011, and it has been out of print forever. And I've had my eye on it on various sources, and I haven't been able to, snag one that's not horrendous. But on a whim, just yesterday, I decided to search it up, as I do sometimes. So, you never know the luck of a lousy cat, as they say. And I found one that had just gone on sale at a library for $100 and something, and I grabbed it so fast. It should be here by next week. I accidentally sent it to my dad's house, which might be a problem because he collected Witchblade. He might assume that I just sent it to him. So I might have a hard time getting it back. Like, Dad. Whoops. Hi, Alvin. There we go. So I am very excited to have my Witchblade. I actually have a Witchblade video coming up soon, taking a look back at the first issue of Witchblade all the way back in 1995. So that was a lot of fun to go back down that route. And of course, then it got me on my own time to, you know, edge back into the darkness and all those things I used to like fathom, all that kind of stuff. Then I was re-looking at some of the crossovers, like the Witchblade Tomb Raider one. Just because why not? Why not? Because you can, right? There we go. Oh, you're so happy, Alvin. You're so happy. So this box set that I got came with 4 of them, and they're all hardbound like that. They're all, so I think they're going to last. I think there's a good chance that they will survive the test of time. Alvin, can I put them back in the box, please? Can I put them back in the box? Is that a thing that I can do? Is that a thing? I was surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I was surprised. I was, I guess, taken aback by how many people wanted Avengers 200 when I suggested the preg list. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. But honestly, I so rarely think about that story. And I was like, oh, yeah. But there are so many other ones. There are so many other more forgotten ones. That's why I started with the Sue Storm death video, which some people found odd, but makes sense to me. So that's how it went down. There's jelly in it. That's why there's chewing, because there's jelly. I love the jelly. But so update on the Kindle reading situation, because I feel like nobody talks about Comixology anymore since it just got so bad. But I still use it and I still struggle along with my Kindle reader. And they have made, as much as they took 10 steps backwards, they've made one mini step forward. There is a comic reader once more. It's not very good at all, but you can at least see a comic page layout now. And if you double click on that page, you can see it zooms up slightly and really low quality. It used to do this thing where it would isolate the panel in a very strange fashion, and now it just zooms at really low res. So who knows? In another 2 months, it might zoom correctly. But I do still use it, you know, on occasion. I still have things on there. I still grab stills from the things I have. That's where I got the stills for the What If 42 and stuff, because I have all those things. And I'm like, I'm not going to just stop using them. I have them. But Comics with Bueller, thank you very much. Thank you for making a quality YouTube channel based on love and enjoyment of comics. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I saw someone mention just now Starman. I have my Starman with me because I have been working my way through Starman. I picked up this compendium a while ago, but it's been slow going. Not because I'm not enjoying it, but just because I'm enjoying it so much that I really like to take the time to go through it. And these stories are pretty dense for, I'm like whacking it. These stories are pretty dense for the most part. So they take a nice amount of time to read. And the thing with the compendiums is I like the compendium format. Hi, Theo. They, you know, it's nice to have everything, but reading the compendiums and the omnibuses it can be a bit difficult. It's not exactly something like, oh, you can just recline and lay it on you, especially not now. I can't put any pressure on my belly at all. So I have to find very specific reading positions where it doesn't crush me. But on the whole, I've been really enjoying it. Where am I? I'm at Starman 17 with my nice little, just totally ripped up bookmark. It took a while to get back into this art style for me, but now that I'm more into it, I'm enjoying it more. It does suit the tone of the work that's going on, even though it's not my personal favorite art style. Look at how Dr. Phosphorus looks. Look at how cool he was during this Neuron era. You know about Neuron because we talked about him in the Lady Cake Binder video. His powers got all amped up because he took the Neuron deal. There are some good ones in this. There are some ones that I think are less good. There are some interesting things. The Second Mist is just, I find the story of the Second Mist so fascinating. And it's getting to the point where I might end up actually doing a video on Nash just because that whole storyline fascinates and horrifies me at the same time. It's nice. By the time, and I do love the covers, all of the stylized covers in here. I think they're by Harris. Yeah, I was right. Signature is right down there. But I really like the hyper realistic covers that they have in here. I think by the time I'm done this, I'll be ready for the second compendium, which is releasing in November. Then I'll have it all. Oh no, my cats are about to fight. You might hear it live on camera. We're doing it live. So that's what I've been reading the most out of anything. So I haven't really caught up with most of the mainstream stuff. Like I'm now officially super behind. Now stop fighting. You're gonna hear it. They're gonna make that horrible like cat wailing sound. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're gonna do it. And they made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, DC versus Vampires completely fallen off it at this point. I am so behind on it. I will catch back up because I am invested. It's just not on the top of my priority list. I was supposed to read Riddler, Riddler Year One or Killing Joke thing, whatever it is, the One Bad Day Riddler, but I did not get around to it. I'm like, I'll get around to all of those things eventually. Right now, I'm reading this. And then I'll be rereading Witchblade, which I already started rereading some of the digital copies I have, but it's not the same. Like it's not quite the same as being able to hold it. I like digital reading. I really do, and especially if it's formatted for it, like Webtoon or something like that. But I do also like the physicality of holding on to these. Well, yeah, you see on the back, it's got all of the covers on it, which is something I do like about all the omnibuses, to see all the covers laid out so you know what you're getting. I'm in another omnibus conundrum, and it's that, so I have the first original Silver Age Hal Jordan Green Lantern omnibus, but they re-released a new one that's bigger. And I'm kind of like, I kind of want the bigger one, but they still have the older one, the second volume that I don't have, but it's out of print. And I'm like, the dilemmas. Do I buy the new one and have like a kind of redundancy and try and offload the first one? Or do I try and find a copy of the out of print second volume? You see, this is just unimportant dilemmas. Unimportant dilemmas. Q Alter. Home should be equipped with a self-destruct system in case you are unable to defend yourself against an intruder. That seems very intense. All I'm thinking of is those like Star Trek episodes where they need to activate the self-destruct and it's him and number one and they go and just like, yeah, do you agree? But then you can just turn it off so easily. Yes, I had to. Yeah, first world comic book problems. How will I collect Silver Age Green Lantern? Oh no, the mind boggles. I do like collecting Silver Age Green Lantern though. I was this close to going on another like hilarious Hal Jordan like binge, like the comic where he doesn't come up with the oath and Tom does instead. That is great. I am enjoying the shorts for that reason. It is fun to be able to dive into some of the smaller concepts, even though some of them I'm going to end up going bigger. Like I did the Wonder Woman one, but I really want to talk about how much of it was for logo and trademarking. So I'll probably end up going back to that. But they are fun and I like doing them. And I ended up really enjoying them. Like I didn't think I would. The first time I tried them, I wasn't into them. But now I feel like I've kind of got a format down. I'm not going to lie. It's because I watched a really helpful YouTube tutorial. And just, I don't know. Sometimes you watch a really good tutorial and it changes everything. It was just like this really simple formatting thing too. And I'm like, now everything's different now. The world looks different now. But it's also kind of a fun exercise in seeing how concise you can be. So it's really interesting to see, can you actually get something down to a minute? And if you can get something down to a minute, then it does raise the question of, does it need to be an entire, whole video? I think it's just an interesting exercise from that perspective to see what you can or can't do. I should wear a mask. I have one. I have one from the wedding, actually. There were a bunch of masquerade masks that they had for the reception. They were really cool. I still have mine. At the beginning of the night, no one was wearing them. And then as you can imagine, by the middle and several more drinks in for other people, they were wearing them and they were on absolutely everybody. It was pretty great. I couldn't stay too late because obviously, like, you get tired. It is the second trimester, so I do get tired a bit easier than I was want to do before, but it's still nice to be able to go out and do stuff like that. But Kite Man, I look over at the chat and I just see Kite Man. I'm like, why? Why are you trying to start Kite Man things? Don't send me down the rabbit hole of Kite Man. Remember, like, hyper depressed. See, I'm going down. I'm going down the hole because you mentioned Kite Man's name. And now it's going to be all over. All over. Let me catch up with what some of you are saying. Kite Man is no, stop it. Hyperion 327. Thank you very much for the super chat. And I love your little Dracula DP. That's so good. Love your channel and content. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much. Speaking of Dracula, I fell down the rabbit hole of rewatching Nosferatu recently and finding out all this Nosferatu trivia, and it's been pretty great. But yeah, and I've been trying to find a good horror series. Actually, that reminds me of the other thing I wanted to talk about, just in general. So I found myself on travels to Toronto today, and I had some time to kill. And so I went to the Eaton Center, and I decided to go to the Indigo, which is if you're not from here, it's our big box bookstore. And the one at the Eaton Center is one of the biggest ones out there. So I decided to go and check it out. And after I went to the kids section to find books for my kids, and then I went to the manga section, which was huge. And I was like, ooh, so I'm like, well, let me dip on over to the comic book section, which I know is on the reverse of the manga section. And it was so sad. It was depressing. I've been seeing the decline of that section for quite a while. But this time it was the saddest that it had ever been. It was, so let's imagine that the shelf is really one long shelf, but it's divided into 3 subsections. So 1, 2, 3. The Marvel and DC was limited to one of the subsection spaces. So all of their stuff just crammed into one little tiny shelf. And then on top of that, it wasn't organized. No one cared. Stuff was literally falling over. Some of it had been thrown onto the floor. When I moved over to the next section, which was just kind of generically labeled graphic novels, and it was just kind of every other company in alphabetical order. I did bother to get down and try and see some of the Vault collections, because they've been collecting some of the old EC comics, Vault of Horror, Terror from the Crypt, all of those things. So I was looking down there and they were just all thrown around and that kind of stuff. I was like, that's so sad. It's so indicative though of the status of where that kind of stands in general in the public eye though. You can just look at that shelf and you can see it. And it's sad. The lack of care is sad. I'm not unaware of the status of everything going on, but it's just to see the physical manifestation. It's always ooh, oh dear. If oh dear could be given a physical manifestation in form, it would be looking at that shelf. It would just be oh dear. No, it's not everything is digital thing, because the manga section was packed, beautiful. It was organized. They had these sections where they had the The hot ones, like facing forward, it was like, do you like Jujutsu Kaisen? Because it's facing forward. Do you like this? It's facing forward. Do you like the otaku one, like Love is Hard for an Otaku? All facing forward. And it's like, oh, there's care here. And you knew it was hip because in the middle they put all like the cool lifestyle things. They put the vinyl records, specifically Harry Styles, right in the center of the manga aisle. They're like, you like manga? You like Harry Styles? And here you go. You're in the right store. I didn't end up picking up the vault of, what are you guys doing down there? I didn't end up picking up the vault of horror that time, but I did think about it. I did think about it because I do like some of those older renderings, but I flipped through it and the digital coloring, it's not bad. I've seen some really bad digital coloring, particularly on early Aquaman, particularly Silver Age Aquaman is pretty bad for that kind of really bizarre washed out kind of coloring. But this one, it was too bright. Sometimes the digital coloring, it washes out, some of the original inking and just nuance that was there in the original pages. It's why sometimes, even if you own the digital version, it's nice to use the scans or the like the scan ups, because sometimes they just have a little extra oomph or detail that you don't have in some of the digital recolorings that just kind of feel slathered on at times. I wish listed it. I wish I could remember off the top of my head what it was. It wasn't Flash Gordon, even though I do have one of those wish listed. It was another older one, and I hope, fingers crossed, that the recolor is good. I also want the I still haven't picked it up. I want the Parker, like the Parker definitive like edition one. I really like that. And it looks really good from the pages I've seen. Like the coloring looks really, really good. Are any of you like hanging on any like reprints or anything that that's coming up? If you keep track of that kind of thing, do you keep track of that kind of thing? I have to chill out. I'm gonna run out of tea. I'm gonna run out of tea if I keep doing it like that. Oh my goodness. You've been hunting Grant Morrison Batman. I have a decent amount of Grant Morrison Batman. Personally, not my favorite run, but I do like having I like having it. Some of the art in it I really, really like. I haven't kept up with the Sandman universe. Thank you very much, Moon Princess. I appreciate it. Oh, Shade the Changing Man. They're doing a reprint of that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'll need to look into that. I'm trying to think of the other things that I know are coming out. Too many things. I'm still keeping an eye on the JSA Omnibuy just to make sure they don't sneak out a print on me like my precious Witchblade. And I'll spend years hunting it down like I am those last Astro City volumes, or that one eBay seller who knows that I just need like 5 issues but is selling all of them. He's like, you want it. And I'm like, I do, but I don't want all of them. Can we perform some kind of ancient barter style trade? Is there anything that I have that you want? What's next on the pregnant playlist? So, okay, I'm in a dilemma because I want to do the Catwoman annual one. I know a lot of people are fond of it, and that's not why I'm shying away from it. But it's because I'm afraid I'm going to go too far down the rabbit hole of realistic things about pregnancy that no one wants to hear about. I'm just like, if I go down this hole, it might be too deep. It might be too deep. No one wants to hear about the realities of how much you sneeze and the shifting of your center of balance and all of these kind of things that are why like nothing in that story should be happening the way it is. Because some people really enjoy just that kind of escapist level of fantasy. And if you know that it's not realistic, or some might even find the fact that's not realistic empowering. But for me, it just drives me insane. I'm like, especially the last panels where she's running around in the leather 3rd trimester pregnant. And I'm like, okay, firstly, the pressure of the leather on her body would make her so nauseous or uncomfortable that's like both in the belly, both on the breasts, just everything would not be happening. Her center of balance would be off because it shifts to accommodate the baby. Your hip bones and pelvis bones actually reshape at that point and move. Your abs split apart. They're open. Everything about everything. Like there's one panel where she has a leap off of a box in high heels onto the ground, 3rd trimester pregnant, chasing the Joker. And I just, I broke. I broke. And so many people love it. I just broke. I was like, I can't. Everybody has those hills, you know, like everybody has a really like random hill that's theirs. And Garrett, thank you very much. With Silver Age's Batman villain is your favorite. Mine is 10-Eyed Man, just because of the way Batman defeats him, like handing him a cactus. I do like the 10-Eyed Man, and I just love the Silver Age for their zany villains in general. Thank you for derailing me from that, because I was about to fall really deep into that. I am running up those hills. Stranger Things, Kate Bush reference. But yeah, it bothers me. Like it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It's just such a little thing. But like it's just this little it's okay. Here's the thing. Why it bothers me personally, and like I will talk about it, because this isn't a video where I'm trying to outline all of the different like facets of different ways that people could look at it and what they might or might not enjoy. What I don't enjoy about it personally is that there are already so many difficulties with being pregnant that people don't talk about. And it's difficult at times to just exist and be. And stories like that don't acknowledge all of the very physical realities that you're going through, I feel like they almost undermine it and make it seem like you're not doing enough, when sometimes just getting up and doing like day-to-day stuff feels like Herculean and heroic all on its own. And so I don't really enjoy stories that kind of belittle just how living the ordinary day-to-day is already really like, yeah, good job. And instead it's like, no, you should be in leather, jumping off of a rooftop, posing sexy with Batman in your extra tight leather, 8 months pregnant. And it's like, no, stop it. It was me, Barry. It was me. I went and wrote the annual Reverse Flash just to mess with you personally. I believe it. The Reverse Flash is diabolical enough to do that. I 100% believe it. Oh, Maxie Zeus. Oh, Maxie Zeus is fun. Maxie Zeus, I heard, came up in that Riddler story. Oh. Let me see. Yeah, Kitty is here. But there was a bat bucket. There was a bat bucket. Bat bucket. I'll get the bat bucket. That one line is pretty funny. Do you have any baby name ideas? Yes, the baby is already named. And for me, it's a sticking point for me. Spider-Woman also has a lot of issues in that arena too. That one also does some really interesting things where it continues to do that after. But Spider-Woman at least does the whole like, oh, she's super powered and stuff. So you can have a bit more of a disconnect there than with Catwoman. One time, like 2 weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, my husband had to take several days off work because I was so sick. And I fell asleep once when he was talking to me mid-sentence. Just completely passed out. He was like talking to me, I was gone. But no, Catwoman's fine. She can still run around and fight crime at night. All she needs is a bath bucket. I'm salty. I'm so salty. I'm sorry. I'm extra salty. I have a side of salt. A side of salt for my, no, I was about to say for my tea, but King Tut's great. I love King Tut. Like, King Tut is such a fun villain from the 60s show. I always enjoy any episode where he shows up. That actor in general is just so gregarious and so fun to watch and things. I'm also planning to talk about the Tomorrowverse, because there were some people who were confused about where that movie, the Jon Stewart Green Lantern one, sat in the Tomorrowverse, because it's technically part of it, but the Tomorrowverse is a little bit of a mess. Yes, did you know that there's a DC animated movie verse, and some of the movies are connected, but not all of them? That's a thing also. Tracy Dale, thank you very much. Just want to say hi and love your channels. Also binged the Netflix Salmon series and loved it. I have not seen a single episode yet, which is very on brand for me. Anytime we do one of these, everybody's like, have you watched the latest thing? And I'm like, nope. I did watch the documentary on Woodstock 99, though. As someone who was 9 years old when that happened, I felt like I was getting punched in the face by all of the fashion that was there. I do like Stargirl. I'm not caught up on Stargirl, but I really enjoy Stargirl a lot. Dr. Death. I like Dr. Destiny. Like, Dr. Destiny is pretty cool. Another one. I hope this new best doesn't end like Apocalypse. Well, the thing is, okay, so, like, for example, did you know the Long Halloween is part of the Tomorrowverse? So the Tomorrowverse is really interesting because, like, some of them are original-ish stories, and some of them are straight adaptations. And the Adam Strange story, for example, that happened in John's movie, if you got the Apocalypse War movie, there was a DC showcase on that had an Adam Strange story on it that appears to be continuing, but the Apocalypse wasn't the same verse as this Tomorrow. I'm just like, you can't do that. I'm like, whether or not you're ending Adam Strange's story in this, you can't not advertise it. You can't promote the movie and not mention that, like, hey, if you didn't watch like this DC showcase short that came with this other movie, then Adam Strange, just deal with it, you know? Michael Nemo, thank you very much. I was wondering if you've ever noticed characters having different powers over the years or different abilities depending on the writer. 100%, particularly if you read the X-Men. What can their powers do? It depends. It depends. Would Adam Strange also come with Death in the Family? I actually enjoy Death in the Family. I enjoy choose your own adventure style things. So I was like, I'm having fun with Death in the Family. Yeah, Constantine is responsible for the new timeline. But some people will say that and try and use it for the plot holes too. They're like, but it's Constantine. I'm like, okay, but Constantine didn't create the plot hole. Constantine created the new timeline. there's a difference. And the other thing too was that at the end of JSA, they were like, we should form a Justice League. And then at the end of Long Halloween, which happened before, remember, like, the Flash randomly showed up and stuff like that. But then in Justice, like the Beware My Power, the League's already formed. So you just had this huge gap. And it just very much feels like the Beware My Power movie was shoved into the Tomorrowverse, like it wasn't initially supposed to be, and it just kind of like got shoved in there. Michael Nemo, thank you very much. For instance, Supergirl not being affected by kryptonite, but being affected by Argonite, since she wasn't from Krypton, she was from Argo City. They've done a bunch of stuff with Supergirl, so depending upon what her origin is at the time, because depending upon what they're doing with Superman, they'll sometimes tweak her origin accordingly, depending upon whether we're really adhering to, like, he's the last person on Krypton and people care. That's an ice cube chunk. I was like, why is there something hard? It's like, why is there something hard? And the thing is, here's the other thing with the DC movies. I find that, like, I'd say actually, I'm going to make them potentially. I don't think most people watch all of them. Like, let me know. Like, do you watch all of them? But I watch all of them eventually. But I tend to watch them in the order of what I'm the most interested in. In that, like, oh, I wanted to watch Long Halloween because I really like that comic. So I watched that. I wasn't as interested in the Superman of Tomorrow, so I didn't watch that till way later. that kind of thing. So I don't necessarily watch them in order all at the same time. So I feel like having an interconnected verse and not specifically indicating in some way to the audience that they're interconnected is not necessarily the best play out there. I feel like you should kind of be like the Tomorrowverse. So you should watch all of them because they're all connected. I just don't think they have the best marketing strategy when it comes to the animated movies, and especially because not all of them are connected. So they still release stuff like Injustice or Catwoman Hunted that are not part of the Tomorrowverse, but that come out at the same time. So I imagine for people who aren't exactly paying attention, it could get a bit kerfuffled, I guess would be the word I would use. Let me catch up with all of you. I would have kept up more if I'd known they were connected. Michael Nemo, have you chatted already about Constantine swapping genders already? No, because I'm waylaid by so many other things. Haven't watched in years. They have, but they're doing that Super Sons thing. I don't think that's connected to the Tomorrowverse either, though. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's also in that interesting kind of quasi 3D-ish style. I just realized I was getting too close. It's like, yeah, Marvel's animated movie game is not. I do like DC's animated movies a lot better. Even the ones that are rough, I still enjoy for the most part. Yeah, that's the thing because you're right, Danny. They do have, for the most part, a very similar art style. Tomorrowverse. I mean, I don't know. They have some interesting announced projects, and the ones that I'm interested in, I will watch. It was fun, I have to say, to do the movie review. It did make me flirt with the concept of doing more of them every now and again. It was especially because of that amazing misinterpretation of Apocalypse Now that kicked the whole thing off. And that just sent me down a fascinating rabbit hole. There were so many more quotes I found that I could not use because it would have been like an hour and a half. And I'm like, let's not fall down the bread tube hole. But it was so interesting just seeing the creative process behind that movie. Oh, it happened. It happened. I ran out of tea. Now I just have the jelly. And that's not the same. But there's still enough syrup that if I go back and then I can add more, I'll save it. I'm that person who keeps the lid of things, so I still have the lid. Huzzah. Kyle Santos, thank you very much. Did you enjoy Long Halloween? I felt pretty mixed. I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the changes that they made to it. The pacing was very slow, and watching it, I get sad hearing Catwoman's voice and knowing how she died. That makes me sad, but that's a me thing. But on the whole, I did enjoy it, but I have talked to other people who found it very boring. And I can see that perspective too, because of the pacing and how slow burn it was. And also because it does have the same thing that all of the Tomorrowverse films have had, which I found is that there's a bit of a disconnect. Something about the way they're presented. There's a bit of a gap between the emotional resonance they're aiming for and how they actually present it. And I found that they've all had that gap, but it's just more stark in some films than others. But The Long Halloween definitely has it too, but I enjoy that one overall. Even though I'm not sure it needed to be 2 parts, but I liked watching it. All moments are best Doom moments. I do enjoy Doom. Mr. T should give you a year's. I appreciate that joke very much. I really appreciate that joke. Will you do a vid about Blue Devil? Maybe. Lord knows what I'm going to do a video about. Aside from Witchblade, you know that I'm going to do a video on Witchblade. And of course, the winner of the vote, which was Superman needs to pay his child support, which is probably going to be my title. And I'm very excited to do that. That's going to be very fun. And of course, I'm going to do the Red Hood. I just cracked my knuckle. You're not supposed to do that. I will do the Red Hood webtoon because I enjoy following the webtoons and the digital attempts. At least I enjoy their digital attempts more than the Marvel attempts, but also that's just because their app hurts me. But it's okay. Oh, I miss Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold was really fun. Watch the TV series as well. Makes you think I haven't already. Or also the anime. Oh yeah, I love Talking Smallville or whatever they're Talkville. Yeah, I love Michael Rosenbaum's and Tom Welling's rewatching Smallville cast. I was so tempted. I'm such a nerd. I was so tempted to rewatch with them because Smallville is one of the shows that I physically own all of it. I loved Smallville so much. I was ride or die. There were all those fights in the forums about it was better before, it was better after, and I was just like Smallville. And all of those songs, it was hitting all the song things for young me. I had so many of the songs on my MP3 player at the time because I did not have an iPod. And oh, just good times. Good times. Gotham. Oh, Gotham's a hot mess, but I enjoyed it for being a hot mess. Gotham was entertaining. I was always entertained by Gotham, but it bothered me in a lot of ways from like continuity perspectives and stuff. But if you let that go and just let Gotham be Gotham, then Gotham was a wild ride. Oh, I saw they renamed Pennyworth the origin of Batman's butler or something. It made me laugh so hard. Didn't they do the I haven't really watched it. Didn't they do the secret sister thing on Pennyworth? The classic fanfic trope of what's a sister? Oh, so funny. Oh, that's something I want to do. So one of you, if you're here, thank you, turned me on to the 1988 Superman animated series. And after much searching, I found it. And I watched it. And I want to do a little retrospective on it because it existed and I feel like nobody remembers it. I need to tell the world about like Lex Luthor's bimbo girlfriend. She was so annoying, and every episode she was in angered me so much. But it was, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. It sure did exist. It was interesting though. Like some of like the historical facts surrounding it and stuff are fascinating. So I would like to, yes, Ruby Spears Superman. Yes, I found it. And there's only like 13 episodes or something. So it's not, like, woo, what a feat watching all those episodes, all 13. Good job. But it would be fun because I think, see, I'm seeing a bunch of you like, what? There is an 80s show. So I'm like, that would be fun to highlight that little forgotten show some. Oh, the voice acting for Superman is like, and the voice actor is good. I've heard him in other stuff. He's such a prolific voice actor. But for the Superman role, it's very stiff. It's almost like the version of like the Superman voice I do. It's too like, hello, I'm Superman. Have I seen Superboy? Yes, I've seen Superboy. I love Superboy. Superboy is fun. Superboy is such a fun team. Superboy is one of those shows where they replaced the lead actor in between seasons 1 and 2 and those didn't talk about it. Like, I remember when they did that with Batwoman, people were like, this has never happened before. And I'm like, yes, it has. Just like when they talked about canceling the Batgirl movie. Like, this no movie has ever been canceled this far into production before. I'm like, yes, it has. Yes, it has. Because some of them I've been waiting for, and then they get canceled. I also have a pin in my hand. I'm really aggressively waving it around, and I should probably calm it down. But Where did you watch it? Well, you can collect the DVD. They actually did collect it on DVD. So it's not I wasn't in stock, but somebody had it, like a old video store or something was willing to be like, "Hey, you want this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." Cuz I'm that person who just trolls around the internet looking for obscure places that people might still have things. But it's not a pen. It's pins, and now I have 2 of them. And somebody left pins up here, which is incredibly dangerous. I haven't read a lot of Lady Death. Like, I haven't. I know, like, I know, of course, of the bad girl era, obviously, because the bad girl was bad girl art spinning off of or an homage to good girl art from the early days, of course, because of Vampirella and all that. But I haven't read much Lady Death personally. I'm enjoying these pins way more than I should be. Way more. I've never heard of a comic called Bomb Queen. I always love hearing about comics that I've never heard of. That's always very enjoyable. Sorter Studio says, I don't even know what's going on here. Neither do I. Neither do I. I guess I should say hi and thank you to a lot of the new people because a bunch of new people have come in. We're over 150,000 now. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I don't really keep track of the numbers, but I note and appreciate them silently. I am in awe that many people are here to casually talk about comics, and I really do appreciate it. It makes it so it's so heartwarming. It really is. That I think it's heartwarming and it's humbling. I think are the best words to describe it. Doing YouTube is such a privilege to be able to come on YouTube and do it so frequently. It really is. It's wonderful. Like it has its downfalls, like any other thing that you do, but on the whole, it really is a wonderful thing to do. It's very fun. I enjoy it. Alvin, what do you think? What do you think, Alvin? Nothing to say? You're very happy? Are you a happy kitty? Your brother doesn't want to be on camera today. He's hiding in the corner. Oh! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're too much. You're absolutely too much. That was the saddest thing about going into the bookstore was that I went in the mindset that I feel like this happens. Does this happen to you whenever you go into a bookstore looking to buy something, you walk out with nothing? That happens to me all the time. But I went into the store with the mindset that I wanted to buy a comic. But in my head, I did have a couple of, bookmark placeholder things that I was low key looking for. And I just couldn't find any of them. What was there was so random. And what was really sad too is that they did have the recommended section. Like, oh, the staff says you should read this. And all the stuff they said you should read was from so many years ago. They were like, you should read Hawkeye by Matt Fraction. I was like, so like there's not even anything recent that you can recommend? Oh my goodness. Oh. Do you dig any other comic YouTubers? The YouTube I watch I don't watch a lot of comic book tube. I watch a lot of gamers. Like Corey Kenshin's back. I'm so excited. You know how Corey's always going on hiatuses, but Corey's back. And so I'm very excited to get back into the Corey Let's Plays. I watch a lot of fashion things, tons of cooking videos. A lot. Since I talk about comics essentially for a living, I do find that I tend to gravitate towards other types of content for my spare time content. I also have Tubi, and I love Tubi and like the trash-free movies on it. So good. Such a good time. I love watching schlock that I've never heard of before. It's so good. Yeah, I haven't played on my gaming channel for a bit. I've just been the balance and everything. There were a couple, like I try and keep like how I'm feeling off the channel and stuff, obviously, but like there were a couple of weeks where I was pretty sick and I game at night and there was no way that I was going to be able to do anything. So now that I'm feeling better, the gaming will get back onto the upswing. And also because my kids are going back to school in 2 weeks, I'll have a lot more time. But I'm going to miss them because this summer has been very, very fun. It's been a lot of fun to, oh my goodness. I took my daughter to the comic book store the other day and she insisted upon Sonic issue 50. And I was like, Sonic still got it. The kids still love Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. Gotta go fast. And I cringed because it was $8, but I got her a bag and a board and I was like, okay, come on, let's do it. And as soon as we got home, ripped the bag, board gone. And I was like, I knew it was going to happen. But it was a thing that I made. Like that was a decision I made. I knew it was going to happen though. Oh yeah, there are a couple of actually a couple of games dropped today. Some horror RPGs that I'm really excited to play. It's funny. I think I end up playing a lot of the same games that Manly Badass Hero does because I just think that we naturally gravitate towards the same type of game, which makes me laugh. But one day there will be more clowns for sure. I have a game that just went on sale called Chicken Squad, where you're like a police chicken, and I'm very excited to play through. That's like a comedy where like you're a police chicken, and it seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Miramouth Hunts, thank you very much. Hi Sasha, sending love from Diego. Congrats on the Little Woods. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh. Yeah, I do like Manly Badass Hero. The playthroughs are fun. Like, they're chill. Like, it's really fun because, like, you can go from watching Corey Kenshin, like, freak out over horror games to watching someone more mellow. I'm the type of person who likes to watch the same person play different games. Like, if I'm going to play the game myself, then I don't watch the Let's Play because I want to experience it for myself the first time through. And then maybe afterwards I'll go and see if other people found different things. But when I'm not going to play the game, because there are just certain types of games that aren't for me, I do like to watch multiple people play it, like the Mortuary Assistant, which I'm not personally going to play myself, but like I really enjoyed watching all the different people play through and like get the different endings and Markiplier stumbling upon the best ending by accident. Like, it's just such a good time. It's so fun. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of watching Let's Plays. When I was younger, I didn't get it. And I was like, why would anybody do that? I'm like, I love it. I grew to love it. You know, sometimes you can be wrong, just like how I felt about shorts, and now I love them. Let me see. Oh, well, my daughter got a Wonder Woman book the other day, but it was one of those I kind of describe it. It's not a comic, but it's one of those like Wonder Woman adventure books. It was okay. It was a gift. And I heard my husband reading it to her, and he finished it and went, well, that was a story. And I feel like that very accurately summarized what had just occurred. It was indeed a story that was written by someone. And in it, Wonder Woman did ride a pterodactyl. So it had that going for it at the very least. Oh yeah, I see some of you talking. Do any of you do you even game, bro? Or what do you like to do? Let me catch up. No, Alex, I tend to watch really old cult horror movies. They're some of my faves. I was rewatching the Stuff the other day, and the Stuff holds up pretty well. Some of the effects aren't that great anymore, but I do like the jokes in the Stuff. I love seeing all you give suggestions to each other about what's good to read. What are people reading on the indie scene right now? What are some fun indie recs that you are all enjoying? Because I would love some. I would love some. I would like some different things to read, or at least to add to the list of things that I will hopefully one day read. Oh, it's heavy. It is a heavy. See, that's the thing with the omnibus. They're heavy. Ah, even sitting on it. Oh yeah, I have Black Sad. Black Sad's sitting on my shelf over there. Got it back from my dad. Oh, I'm doing the Buddha belly, just out of frame. Oh, it's funny. That's how some people have known that I'm pregnant, because I keep rubbing my belly like it's a little crystal ball. Black Sad's great. Like, Black Sad is really good. I especially love the art in Black Sad. I haven't read any of Radiant Black. Don't eat that. Don't eat it. Thank you. I haven't caught up with Fable either. I've heard from some people that new Fable is good though. Yes, there is new Black Sad. I haven't picked it up, but I did see that there was new Black Sad. Or are people just working through some of their older stuff? I've heard a lot of people saying that they're not enamored with some of the new stuff, so they're working through some of their older back issues or back catalog, or taking the time to check out some things that they haven't checked out before, which I always think is also very fun. Sometimes you need to get off that keeping up with everything grind. Sometimes everything's just moving a bit too fast, you know, or the environment around it isn't very good or very fun, particularly if you're a person who enjoys getting involved in like discourse and stuff. So I totally get that. Weekly grind, that's right, the hustle. Get on the grindstone. Batman versus Robin, I did read that. It was I thought it was pretty good. I got sent an advanced copy of that, and I thought it was pretty good. Same with World's Finest, which I really, really do enjoy. Nose to the grindstone. No nose left. I mean, I know it's not true. I got a big nose, and I love it. More to put on the grindstone for the weekly grind. But, you know, the New 52 does have its high moments. It has its high points. There are some points that aren't bad. Are you going to come up again? I could use a kitty friend. Yeah? Thanks. I could always use a friend. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Do, 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 do. Ooh, any concern about DC new owners? No, I tend not to be concerned about stuff like that. Que sera, sera. What will happen will happen. And if the industry does a huge, giant shift, it does a huge, giant shift. And I'll always have the other stuff that I enjoy and the stuff that previously existed, and we'll see where it goes. I'm fascinated by the rise of Webtoon and the other things. There'll always be some form of comics. They might change, they might not. Who knows? The industry's gone through many, many ups and downs. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, and to see where the era shapes up, and how everything ends up settling, and how everything works out. At least I think it's interesting. That's the way I look at it. But that's the way I look at it. What are you doing down here? What are you doing down here? Do. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the current direction. I can see that. Nothing ever stays stagnant, though. Things are always changing, always moving. It's just a question of seeing where they're moving to. I don't know. I've got a very laissez-faire attitude about those kinds of things. Like to focus on the positives that I can do. Boop, boop, boop. Like, show you Alvin. Oh my god, his face. Oh my goodness, he did not appreciate that. I should go through and grab that as a still so that I can put it on the thumbnail. He did not appreciate that at all. Oh, the price hurts. That's one thing. The price does hurt. Like the price of comics, it's just not feasible. It's not sustainable. I saw that Mark Miller is coming out with like $1.99 and stuff like that. And there's another company that does that too, one of the crowdfunding ones. Alvin is, yeah. Are you a shy boy, Alvin? They say that you're shy. Are you shy? Well, I'm glad to hear that people say they're enjoying the Sandman series. Oh my gosh, you can see the hair that he shed all over me. All over me. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Casuallycomics. Yes. Alvin reviews comics, and it's just him screaming the entire video. Ew, he slobbers. He slobbered on me. Slobbered all over me. Casuallycomics. Is he shy or anti-YouTube? I don't know. Maybe he's tired of all those cats being exploited on YouTube for views. He wants to help his cat brethren. No more keyboard cat and Yan cat, even though those are both really old cats. Really old cat videos. How to get started with Wonder Woman? Well, I've always just thought that the best way to get started is just to dive in with something that seems that it will be interesting to you, or something that catches your eye, and then work your way out from there and just find what you like and just go with it. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. And just try and find the things that really are making you enjoy comics, because I know that there are things that I like that other people don't, or things that I don't like that other people love, and like that's totally fine. It's just about finding what you enjoy and finding your own enjoyment in the hobby, because that's what it's supposed to be about, is at least finding some form of joy and enjoyment and potentially community, but not necessarily, but you know, hopefully getting something positive and worthwhile out of the time you're spending on it. Oh, muffler. Mechasaurus, thank you very much. I love all of the AU miniseries DC is putting out. I'm a fan of AUs, but for AUs to work, you need to have a strong main verse. And the main verse is not as strong right now, especially because of all the Omniverse stuff that they've done. So lots of times you'll see a question of like, is this in or out? And when you have a very strong main continuity, I find that it makes the alternates even stronger for it, because they have something to stand against. When you're contrasting against something that's already kind of like on shaky ground, I find that it ends up weakening them a little bit, at least in my opinion personally. Yeah, there are some adaptations that I think are, yeah, someone's talking about how video games brought them into comics. There's some like cross adaptations that can be pretty fun. Calvin and Hobbes, good times. Now, I don't tear things apart, do I? I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist going back for the cubes. The cubes are good. Yeah, Wolf Among Us is fun. I like Telltale games a lot. I know some people are like, they're not real games. I'm like, yes, they are to me. Oh. There is a Riddler Year One comic. It came out. Did it come out today? It should have. I think it was today, because it was August and it's the middle of the month in August, so I think so. Yes, that's right, Ruin. I believe Telltale games are real games to me. Star Trek. Star Trek comics vary. There have been some excellent eras of Star Trek comics, and then some weaker ones. It's currently a weaker era, but there have been in the past some very strong. It's the same with the novelization. I collect Star Trek novels, and like there are some eras that are just amazing, and others where it's just like, why are we even publishing anything? So it just depends. Trek waxes and wanes, and it has its moments. Like, but yeah, I haven't read a solid Star Trek comic in a while personally. Arlen Jenkins, thank you very much. Buy some baby stuff with this. What superpower would your new baby have that would intrigue and terrify you? Ooh, intrigue and terrify. You gotta go base. You gotta go something like telepathy. Like being able to read minds as a child, but not be able to comprehend the nuance and the reasons behind why some things remain unsaid. Terrifying. What a terrifying concept for it. That poor child. Like that poor child. It would not be okay. They would not be okay. Some things should be left unsaid. Peter David Star Trek books? I love Peter David. Are we talking about Peter David Star Trek books? Because I love Peter David Star Trek books. I have a bunch right behind me, actually. But if I were to lift that, it would all tumble to the ground. And it's not worth it. As much as I want to hold Imzadi in my hands, it's not worth it. Child telepathy, like The Shining, or so many other things. There have been so many works about child telepaths because it really is terrifying. So, you know, was the child from that Twilight Zone episode. He wasn't yeah, he was a telepath and he could read their that's why they had to think happy thoughts. You see, we can go really far back with this. It's a great episode. They did an 80s because I have all of the 60s Twilight Zone, all of the 80s Twilight Zone, and they did a follow-up episode in the 80s that isn't bad. The 80s Twilight Zone has a couple of really, really solid episodes in it. It's not as strong overall as the 60s series, but in it there are some really good ones. It tends to get overlooked like a little bit. The 2000s one, boo, instead of collecting the 2000s Twilight Zone, collect the 90s Outer Limits, which I also have all of. And there were some amazing 90s. Nobody talks about 90s Outer Limits, and 90s Outer Limits was amazing. Why does no one talk about 90s Outer Limits? There were some episodes from 90s Outer Limits that haunted me. There's one, and I can't remember the name of it, which is terrible because I own all of them. But there was one, and it was from one of the later seasons, where there is a kid and he finds an alien, like a crashed alien in the forest, and the alien transforms itself to look like one of his action figures. And so he's drawn to this alien, he's helping this alien, and the child has this abusive father who stumbles upon him and the alien, and it all culminates in the alien taking his father's place, and the child knowing this and accepting it because he prefers the alien to his father. And so the alien just comes back to his house and lives his life, and like he doesn't tell anybody. And like that episode messed me up. That episode messed me up so much. It haunts me to this day. Sometimes I just think about it. I'm like, oh. And it was good. I should go and watch it after this while I'm editing. Just put it on the back. If anybody, there was also another great one with Lex Clancy Brown where he transforms into like they use the alien genome that they find to transform him into an alien. That episode's really good too. It was a criminal alien too. Yes, it was, Calvin. You're right. The alien was a criminal, but he was nicer than his dad. Such a good show. Oh. Oh, I used to have a rabbit ear TV. I had actually, it wasn't rabbit ears. My dad built an antenna and he built a circle so that I could manipulate it in any way I wanted so that I could try and create shapes that would be able to grab the channels that I wanted. And so I was able to do that to grab the Stargate series. That was how I watched it. I'd have to do like this weird like L contortion to get this American channel that we did not have up here. And I was able to watch Stargate that way. It was great. I have been watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I have. That is something that I am watching. It has its moments. There are some things about it that really bother me, but on the whole, I think it's pretty solid. I would agree with the statement that it's the best Trek that there has been in quite a while. And like it's a bit rough at points, but on the whole, I'd say it's very enjoyable. Yeah, my dad felt that rabbit ears weren't very effective when you could get a piece of wire. Like he had copper wire all the time, so he was able to just create an antenna for me. He'd also kept an old black and white TV, and so we had a main TV, but then we had a black and white TV. And then he was like, when I got old enough, he was like, "You can have the black and white TV." So it was really awesome. I got to have a black and white TV that I could watch all this stuff. So I saw so many of these modern shows in black and white because that's just the TV I had. You know what I think is a bit underrated? Stargate Atlantis. I'm going to throw that out there. I like Stargate Atlantis too. I liked Atlantis a lot. For a period, I liked Atlantis more than SG-1, but then I got back more into SG-1. Leave Stargate alone. Leave it alone. Let it be. Let it be what it was. It was terrible. I had such a crush on like Dr. Daniel Jackson as a child. I was all about Daniel so much. Oh. What are rabbit ears? Oh, rabbit ears were a type of antenna that you could plug into the back of your TV to try and catch channels, because that's how you used to get them. You would have to tune into the channels and you would adjust the ears on the TV accordingly to catch the best signal. That's what they were. Classic time. Kids these days with their easy access to channels. Well, we had a massive power out a couple of weeks back, and so I was able to pull out some of my DVDs that I have. I have all of Reboot on DVD, and I was like, it's time. And I put it on, and my daughter was like, wow, these work without the internet. And I was like, oh my god. To have to explain a DVD. Nilfinity, thank you very much. So you talked about GLB or My Power, but what do you think of First Flight? Love your videos and congratulations. First Flight, which is essentially Training Day, I do enjoy First Flight. I did enjoy First Flight overall. I think it also suffers from being a bit rushed, but at least it's focused on what it's trying to do. Ow, that hurts my age. Yeah, I know. I remember when DVDs were like the young hotness, and now I have to explain what they are. I'm busting out my Sailor Moon DVDs, and it's like, whoa, what is this ancient technology? What? Who doesn't own all of Reboot on DVD? Or the Powerpuff Girls? Original OG Powerpuff Girls. That's the Powerpuff Girls you need in your life. Yeah, First Flight at least stayed focused on what it was trying to do, and it provided Hal with a classic heroic arc. And for as rushed as it went through all the Sinestro stuff, it did a good job of subtly showing you how he had gone too far without having to do the giant reveal that, but on the whole, like, of course, then it's like end fight so fast, but there were some cool moments in it that I really liked. And it just overall, I feel like it connects better. How do I feel about the different dubs of Sailor Moon? I like the Viz dub a lot. I do. It's overtly precise at points. Like at times, some localization isn't bad, but I do overall like the Viz dub more than the DIC dub for sure. Yeah, we're talking dubs, people. Yeah, I know. But the recent Viz releases come with multiple versions that you can just select between which one you want to hear. So that's pretty cool. Forbidden Planet. I haven't watched Forbidden Planet in years. Oh my goodness. I mean, I haven't watched that in forever. Leslie Nielsen's in that, isn't he? Like a super young Leslie Nielsen. Meow Nyan, thank you very much. Why my boy Kyle will never get love from DC. I know. I should do a giant video on Kyle just to give Kyle some love. Poor Kyle. My goodness. I knew Leslie Nielsen was in Forbidden Planet. Young pre-comedy Leslie Nielsen. Sci-fi heartthrob Leslie Nielsen. Oh. Yeah, you know what? I should find a good Kyle arc. Skip the Friends. Everybody talks about that. Let's go with like a different Kyle arc. What is Kyle doing? What's Kyle doing now? Something. Appearing he's Dark Crisis, just being there like some of the others. Ooh, the Ion arc. Ooh, the Ion arc. Well, I think, well, also just because I'm getting tired, so I need to hop off and refill myself on liquid. But I will have another new video up soon. I just wanted to hop on and chat because it's been a while since I've just, posted a video and chatted that wasn't as short. So I wanted to catch up with all of you. Thanks so much for hanging out, for the randomness. As always, I will, of course, have more videos coming soon. As fast as I can produce them, I will get them to you. So thank you very much. And I look forward to hanging out with you again very soon. Enjoy enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you again soon. All tongue-tied. Okay, bye-bye.